Department of Veteran Affairs presents Blind Rehabilitation Service, enhancing the quality of life for veterans. The Central Texas Veterans Healthcare System has one of the most comprehensive blind rehabilitation service programs in the country. Established in 1974, the program is one of 10 in the country. The Waco, Texas facility is responsible for 1/10 of the United States. This means comprehensive rehabilitation for blind veterans throughout the states of Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Illinois, and Kansas. 11 dedicated staff personnel and many support staff, nurses, and team coordinators strive for a one-on-one environment designed to assist visually impaired veterans improve their quality of life. In order to accomplish lifelong wellness, the program staff focuses on skills necessary for life as well as medical and emotional stability. As with all Veteran Affairs medical facilities, only the highest quality healthcare services are provided for our veterans.
The mission of the Waco Blind Rehabilitation Service is to assist veterans who are blind or severely visually impaired in developing the skills that they need to attain the level of independence each desires and of which each is capable.
In order to achieve this high standard of performance, the program staff continually strives for excellence in their technical competence, efficiency in performance, and creating a therapeutic atmosphere that enriches patients' well-being.
When someone comes in and says they can't do things because they're blind, we try to take away that excuse because there are 5 blind staff members here that can do stuff. We also remind them that life does not end with visual impairment, and then we give them hope and show them how they can do stuff in a different way, but they can still do it.
Excellence in the program means dedication to the mission. Dignity and respect lie at the heart of the program, ensuring optimal service for patients while valuing privacy, personal values, and emotional needs. Orientation and mobility.
Orientation is basically a person's their knowledge of the environment, okay, their ability to travel in an environment, okay. The thing about orientation is that you have to know where you are in space in order to know how you want to get to a place in space. Mobility is the physical act of moving from place to place. And so it's kind of like both orientation and mobility, okay. If a person does not have good orientation skills, they probably, although they may have good mobility skills, they're going to have difficulty traveling. The goal of orientation mobility essentially is to teach a person basically how to get around an environment, okay, and how to travel in an environment where they basically, have to function on a day-to-day basis.
Orientation and mobility is a key life skill necessary for a full, independent life, as are visual skills.
Visual skills is an area that concentrates on the veteran's remaining vision. Probably 80 to 90% of the veterans coming in here have some type of remaining vision. They've been declared legally blind, they've lost a severe amount of vision, but most of them still have some type of remaining vision. So the purpose of visual skills class is to make sure that we're maximizing the use of that vision in their daily activities.
The visual skills program has been a difficult task. I lost my vision 2 years ago, and quite frankly had all but given up hope until I came here to the VA Center. And there I had great expectations, but the instructors, it's not a give me program. You must work for everything that you get.
When you start using low vision aids, you have to think about what is the task that you're doing and what device will help you do that task. So you have more like a toolbox for For your restaurants, you may take a lighted magnifier in and you may read the menu with the magnifier. When you sit down to read your newspaper, you may have this electronic device at home that has a TV monitor on it and a camera mounted under it, and this table that you lay your newspaper on, and you move your newspaper back and forth under that camera eye, and that magnifies it up on the screen. When you go to Walmart and they've got 5 miles of aisles for you to go up and down and look for things, instead of having to go up and down every aisle, you can take a little handheld telescope with you and read the aisle signs. So all of that's dependent on what your vision is like, how it's been impacted by your eye disease, and different people have different limitations and different capabilities. But we're going to find out what your capabilities are and maximize those capabilities.
Well, I guess I would say it's because it gives you more independence to learn things. I needed it so much when I got here, even as far as getting dressed and things like that, housekeeping in the room. I couldn't even get dressed by myself, or it took me an awful long time to do it. And so learning those things and just gaining independence is mainly what it is.
The folks that are the staff here are true taskmasters. They have the patience, they have the techniques to hold your feet to the fire, to get the maximum from their students. And I appreciate every moment that they spend with me, I really do.
Presenting veterans with a wide variety of activities is at the heart of blind rehabilitation. As a result, manual skills are imperative for a patient's success.
In manual skills, we cover 4 specific areas. After we've done assessments, one of the very first things that we start working on in manual skills is home maintenance. That's some of the very basic things that you do with tools. It kind of helps a guy get accustomed to the tool again and accustomed to using his hands. The next part is home repairs. Now in home repairs, we do a lot of things like how to take on a doorknob, put on a new doorknob, how to repair your own plumbing. The third area that we work on is in measuring. You ever tried to use a ruler or a tape measure after you've lost vision? Put a blindfold on. You're going to find that it's very difficult to do. The fourth thing, I think a lot of men are a woodworker at heart. There's 2 different places that we work with wood. We'll do small crafts around that we can use these crafts at home. Small woodworking projects such as remote control caddies that would sit on a table at home and hold 4 or 5 different remote controls. We also build, and this is real hands-on, we also build what's called a whirligig. Now what a whirligig is one of those, we see them today as a lawn ornament. It's those birds that sit out in front of somebody's lawn, and when the wind blows, those wings go a mile a minute. That's what you would call a whirligig, and we build a vast degree of those. We also do something called copper tooling. The guys love this. What it is we take a sheet of copper, thin copper metal, and we put it on top of a mold, and with a varying degree of styluses. These are tools that they use to rub the copper into the shape of the mold underneath. And then we treat the top of it, giving it a black look, and then they steel wool it down so the copper color comes back out. And then they mount it in a frame, and then they seal it. It's just gorgeous.
Along with manual skills, patients are exposed to technology, as well as giving them a platform to interact with a global community. This is accomplished through Computer Access Training, or CAT.
One of the first things that happens when you lose your sight is you don't get as much information as you used to. CAT is one way to get information, to do things that you used to be able to do, at least in one area. Assessing the needs is pretty important. We do that first. Things that go into assessing their needs are what their goals are, whether the computer will meet their needs in this case, or what will best meet their needs, and also what their vision is like. That helps to determine what kind of helper program, so to speak, would be applicable. For instance, a speech only or visual and speech. When it's visual, it's usually enlarged. Or sometimes people work better with what's called a menu-driven program, where it just tells you what it would do if you chose that item. And then they learn how to choose that item or go into something else. The goal is to teach them whatever they want. For instance, if their goal is to communicate with family and friends, then we pick up on that and we teach them how to communicate with family and friends using the computer.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. You know, I've used a computer before, but when I lost my sight about 6 years ago, I just give it up. But it's just fantastic. It blows the letters up where you can see them, and it talks to you. It's great.
One of the most important skills taught to all veterans who enter the program is living skills. Here, personal management and daily living skills create independence for the veteran.
The goal of living skills is to allow a veteran to perform daily living tasks, which he used to do in a different manner, as independently as possible.
I don't know how to put a level on it, but it's been extremely important to me because I've been so independent all my life before I had the stroke, and then all of a sudden I couldn't do nothing for myself. So many things I couldn't do for myself. And so to gain independence back was tremendously important.
Working in a group setting is a key component to the overall training in the program. Another aspect of our inpatient learning is recreation therapy. This allows for patients to converse and get involved with individuals who are experiencing similar trials in their lives. The blind rehabilitation staff doesn't just focus on the veterans. Family members are encouraged to get involved as well. If assessment determines that family is needed in order for a veteran to succeed, then this training is provided. Our training is comprehensive. This means certified nurses are on duty 24 hours a day to ensure the well-being of all patients and to help them train for their long-term success.
Let me tell you quite honestly, every veteran that comes through here has a success story. They'll have a success story in at least one, if not every one of their skill areas.
We all who work here have worked in other sorts of settings, university clinics, private clinics, nonprofits, and we're all very pleased to be able to work at the VA. The Blind Rehabilitation Center here is well supported politically and with good funding, so that we're able to provide the services that these veterans deserve.